Hello everyone. Today we work on the Canadian Computer Computation Test, year 2018, Junior Problems, Problem J3. Up there yet? So the problem is that you travel along a very straight road, and there are 5 cities on the road, and you record the distance between any pair of cities next to each other. And with this information, you want to know the distance between any 2 cities of them. It may sound weird, but the 2 cities might be the same one. So now let's see the input. The input is one line with 4 positive integers, and each of them is the distance between a pair of cities next to each other. And the output is 5 lines, and each line is the distance of one city to all the cities. And now let's draw a graph to illustrate the problem. So we have a very straight road, and on the road we have 5 cities. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We know the distance between any of the consecutive 2 cities, and what we need in the output is that from any city the distance to all cities. Let's see, for the first city we need to know, okay, the distance of it to itself, and then the distance of it to the next one, the second city, the distance of it to the third city, the distance of it to the fourth city, and the fifth city. And also then for the second city, we need to know the distance from it to the first city, the distance of it to itself, the distance of it to the third city, the distance of it to the third city, the distance of it to the fourth city, and the distance to the fifth city. So with this in mind, it would be easier if we know the location of each city. Then it would be just a simple calculation. So we can use the first city as a reference point. Let's say for the first city, the location is 0. Then, as we know the distance from the first city to the second city, then we know, okay, the location of the second city is 0 plus, let's say it's D1, and continue doing this, then we know that the location of the third city is 0 plus D1 plus D2, and the location of the fourth city is 0 plus D1 plus D2 and plus D3. And the location of the fifth city, that is 0 plus D1 plus D2 plus D3 and plus D4. And now let's put it in code. We do this in Python. So here, the first step is that we need to do the input, and we know that we have one line of input with 4 numbers. So first we read in this line, and now we have the 4 numbers as a string, and now we break this line into an array. As this is for distance, we use d as a variable name, line dot split, and now we got an array of the numbers, but for each number right now, it's not a number, it's still a string. We need to convert it from a string to an integer. And what we can do here is that we have several options. We can try first to do them one by one. We use a loop, in range 0, as we have 4 numbers, so 4, and we can do d at this index, and we just use the int function to do the conversion, and we can do it. So now this D array has the integers, not the numbers in string format. We also have some other options. We can comment this one out and do it use the map function in Python, and we can do it as list map int d. So this is, so what we're doing here is that in the container d, we want to map each value to an integer, and after this line, the d is an array which contains integers, not strings anymore. Okay, we'll go with this one. And so this is the input. Now we need to do the data process. And in the data process, we need to define those cities and put the locations of them in. The location of the first city is 0. We use variable c for cities, and we know it should be an array, and the first element is 0. And then based on the distance, we need to calculate the location of the other cities. We need a loop from 0 to 4, as we have 4 elements in array D. So we can calculate the location based on the previous city and the distance. So each time we don't have to start from the first city and do the calculation of all the distances between the first city and the current city. We can just calculate based on the previous city. So here we know that we need to add it to this array a new element, and which is the location. The location is from the previous city plus the distance. And after this, we have the locations of all cities built. And now we need to calculate the distance between any pair of cities. And also we need to do the output. So we can say we are doing the output for now. And we also, as we go through the same process for each city, and so here we need a loop, and this is for each city. As for each city, we need to calculate the distance to all cities, so we need a loop in this loop. So we need an embedded loop. And here, but first we need to declare an array which contains the calculated distance result, and then another loop, and what we need to do here is that we calculate the distance first. So distance is, the city, and we do a calculation here, and we got the distance. And depend on the location of the city, we don't know the location of which city is bigger than the other. So here the distance might be a negative number, so we need to check to make sure it's not negative. So we check whether distance is less than 0, and if it is, we need to make it as positive. So just let it multiply by -1. And now we have the right distance number, and we need to put this into our container R. Need to use the append and this number. And now after we go through this loop, we have all the distance numbers in this container, and we need to print it out. Print star, and this will print the elements with a space as a separator. Okay, so this is the program. The code for this problem is using arrays and array operations a lot. So we need to understand how the array is implemented in Python and how we should use them. And now let's test the program. Here I can run Python 2018-J3-Py, and now we need the sample input, and we have one sample here, so we can use it. So we give it a 3, 10, 12, 5, and press enter, and we get the output. The output is here, and we say 0, 3, 13, 25, 30, 30, 10, 22, 27, 13, 10, 0, 12, 17, 25, 22, 12, 0, 5, 30, 27, 17, 5, 0, exactly same as in the sample output, which means our program is running correctly. Okay, so this is the code for this problem. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please let me know if you have any comments or questions. I'll see you next time.